Hey guys, I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome back to Auto VFix. Today we're diving into a topic every car owner needs to know. Symptoms of a failing or bad power steering pump. The power steering pump plays a vital role in making your car easier to steer, especially at lower speeds or when trying to park. But when it starts to fail, it can lead to a lot of problems that affect both your safety and that of others, as well as your driving comfort. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to identify the signs of a damaged and failing power steering pump, test for power steering pump issues, and then take action before it leaves you stranded in the middle of nowhere, or costs you even more in repair bills than you would expect. Now let's get started. But first, what does the power steering pump do? The power steering pump is the heart of the power steering system. It pressurizes hydraulic fluid, which helps reduce the effort needed to turn the steering wheel. Without it, driving would feel like steering a car from the 1950s, stiff and cumbersome. There are two main types of power steering systems: the hydraulic and electric power steering pumps. Hydraulic power steering pumps are located near the serpentine belt, which helps power them. They've been common in vehicles for decades and are still used in many cars today. And then, the electric power steering pumps are usually connected to the steering rack or column. They're powered by the vehicle's electrical system, making them more efficient and quieter than hydraulic pumps. Knowing which type your car uses can help you pinpoint the issue more easily. To determine if your car uses a hydraulic electric power steering pump, HEPS, or an electric power steering, EPS system, check for a power steering fluid reservoir under the hood. HEPS systems have one, while EPS systems do not. Hydraulic systems also have hoses and a belt-driven pump, whereas EPS relies on an electric motor with no visible hoses or belts. EPS systems are quieter and will often have a dedicated warning light and are more common in newer vehicles. You can also check your owner's manual. Now let's look at the symptoms of a bad and failing power steering pump. Number 1. A hard steering wheel. One of the first and most noticeable symptoms of a bad power steering pump is a stiff or hard-to-turn steering wheel. Here's what you might notice. At low speeds, like when parking or navigating tight spaces, the steering wheel requires a lot more effort to turn. On highways, you might feel a lack of responsiveness when changing lanes. This happens because the pump isn't generating enough hydraulic pressure to assist with steering. If left unchecked, it could lead to complete failure, leaving you stranded with a car that's nearly impossible to maneuver. Now, if this happens suddenly, check your power steering fluid level first. It could just be low. But if the fluid is topped off and the problem persists, then it is most likely the pump. 2. Fluid leaks. Another clear sign of trouble is fluid leaks. Power steering fluid leaks are usually easy to spot if you know what to look for. Look under your car for puddles of red or reddish-brown fluid. The leak could come from cracks in the pump housing or worn-out seals. What to do? If you notice fluid leaks, inspect the pump and hoses for damage. Remember, a power steering fluid can look like transmission fluid, so double-check before assuming it's a power steering fluid. Ignoring a leak can lead to bigger problems, like running the pump dry, which will cause even more damage, such as overheating, seal failure, and contamination with metal shavings, potentially harming the entire steering system. Repairing such damage can cost upward of $400 to $1,500, depending on the extent of the damage and labor rates. 3. Odd noises. Have you heard strange noises when starting your car or turning the steering wheel? A failing power steering pump often makes squealing, whining, or growling sounds, which are caused by air bubbles in the system due to low fluid, or worn bearings or internal damage in the pump itself. When you'll hear it, squealing is typically heard when you start the engine, especially if it's cold. Whining or growling usually happens when turning the wheel and gets louder as the serpentine belt speeds up. These noises aren't just annoying, they're a warning that something needs immediate attention. The longer you wait, the higher the risk of pump failure. Pro tip: keep an ear out for changes in pitch or volume. 4. Metal shavings in the reservoir. Over time, the inside of the power steering pump can wear down due to friction and heat, causing metal shavings to mix with the fluid. Here's how to check for this issue. Open the power steering fluid reservoir and inspect the fluid. If you see shiny particles or metallic debris, it's a sign of internal damage. Why this matters: metal shavings can damage other parts in the system, like the steering rack or hoses, leading to expensive repairs. Flushing the system and replacing the pump promptly can save you from bigger headaches later. 5. Whining noise while turning. If you notice a high-pitched whining noise, particularly when making sharp turns, it's a sign of a struggling power steering pump. The noise happens when the pump is having trouble circulating fluid properly, which can be caused by low fluid levels, air in the system or internal pump wear. Keep in mind that ignoring this sound can lead to more severe damage, not only to the pump, but also to other parts of the steering system. 6. Vibrating steering wheel. Another symptom to look out for is a steering wheel that vibrates excessively, even when you're driving on a smooth road or while idling. This happens because the power steering pump can't maintain consistent hydraulic pressure, causing instability in the system. A vibrating steering wheel is not only annoying, but also a clear sign that the pump is no longer operating efficiently and needs attention. 7. Burning smell. A burning smell coming from the engine bay is never a good sign, and in the case of the power steering pump, it could mean the pump is overheating or the hydraulic fluid is burning. Running the pump under low fluid conditions creates excessive friction, causing heat to build up. This smell is a warning you must look out for to avoid more issues with your car steering system. 8. Decreased responsiveness. Have you noticed that your steering feels slower or are less responsive than usual? This could mean that the power steering pump isn't delivering enough pressure to the hydraulic system. As a result, turning the steering wheel may feel delayed or require more effort, making it harder to control the vehicle. This symptom often indicates a pump that's on its last legs. 9. Increased noise at idle. When the power steering pump is failing, you might hear a loud humming or whining noise even when the car is idling. This noise typically gets louder as you accelerate, signaling that the pump is struggling to operate properly. It's a good idea to investigate this sound as soon as possible to avoid complete pump failure. 10. Steering wheel feels jerky. Finally, if your steering wheel feels jerky or catches while you're turning, it could be due to uneven fluid flow caused by a failing pump. This issue can make driving unpredictable and dangerous, especially during sharp turns or quick maneuvers. A jerky steering wheel is a symptom you should never ignore, as it may indicate that your pump is nearing total failure. To avoid these symptoms in the first place, make sure to 1. Check your power steering fluid regularly. Low or dirty fluid can strain the pump. 2. Inspect the serpentine belt. A loose or worn belt can affect the pump's performance. And 3. Listen for unusual sounds early. Addressing noises early can prevent costly repairs. How to test power steering pump. To test a power steering pump, start by inspecting the fluid level and condition. Make sure the fluid is at the correct level and appears clean. Low or dirty fluid can impact pump performance. If necessary, top up with the recommended fluid. Next, visually inspect the pump and surrounding hoses for leaks or damage. Ensure all connections are secure, as leaks can lead to a drop in fluid pressure, affecting the pump's operation. With the engine running, listen for any unusual noises. A whining noise could indicate the pump is struggling, while a groaning sound might suggest air in the system or a worn-out pump. Using a stethoscope can help pinpoint the source of the noise. Turn the steering wheel fully in both directions and observe how it responds. The steering should move smoothly without excessive resistance. If you feel stiffness or jerking, it may indicate an issue with the pump. Pay attention to any pulsing sensations while steering, as this can also suggest problems with fluid flow or the pump's internal parts. To perform a pressure test, you can connect a pressure gauge to the power steering system. This will help you determine whether the pump is producing the correct pressure. Low or high pressure readings can indicate underlying issues with the pump. After running the engine for a few minutes, feel the pump and lines for excessive heat. Abnormally hot parts on your car can also indicate internal problems or insufficient fluid flow. Finally, take the vehicle for a short test drive. Pay attention to any steering issues, such as stiffness, jerking, or strange noises. If any of these tests reveal a problem, the power steering pump may need to be replaced or further inspected. Now that you know the symptoms of a bad or failing power steering pump, keep an eye and ear out for these warning signs, because addressing these issues early can save you money and keep your car safe to drive. If you're curious to learn more about the steering system, check out our next video on symptoms of a bad steering rack. It's packed with more tips to help you maintain your vehicle. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment if you've experienced any of these symptoms, and subscribe for more car reviews and repair guides from us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.